Hello again. We're going to start the next mission here.
This is Lieutenant Samsa. The Allied attack against the SD Ravana has deteriorated. We have lost the GTD Delacroix, and the surviving warships in the battle group are damaged. Petrarch is scrambling the 107th to assist. Command will also sortie the GVC Somptus and the GTC Yakiba. Once they cross the subspace portal, we will move them into position.
Now, if you remember, the Ravana was designated as the unknown that popped up and destroyed the corvettes in the previous mission. The corvettes are those warships that we were escorting, just in case you didn't know.
For this mission, we'll fly the GTB Boanerdzes, the Alliance's new attack bomber. The Boanerdzes maximizes shielding and payload, while offering enough maneuverability to make it a viable tactical unit. The bomber won't handle as well as the Herc-2, so stay on the move. Bombers make easy targets.
I think this is somewhat of a misnomer and a lie, perhaps, because I find that the Boanerdzes is really slow compared to the other Alliance heavy bomber. You have a choice of what to fly here, but I really don't like this one. The payload's a little weird and it seems slower. Also, when I first did this mission, oops, turn this down a bit. When I first did this mission, I actually had a little complaint too, that, well, not a little complaint, but something I didn't like was that you were forced to fly a bomber. But if you remember, when we got introduced to this squadron, this is actually a heavy assault squadron, so flying a bomber does ring some merit. There is a bomber squadron that we joined later on in the game, but this is also a heavy assault squadron, and I guess this is a way to force the player to learn how to bomb. So, whatever.
With our Cyclops torpedoes, we'll have the firepower to take out the Ravana. If you're too far from the target, the flak guns will neutralize your bomb, so get as close as possible. Once you fire your salvo, hit your burners to get clear of the blast. The Cyclops has an extensive lock time and countdown. If we succeed, we will have secured the jump node between the Nebula and Gamma Draconis. If we fail, we pave the way for a Sheevan invasion of our systems. Good luck, pilot. We know you can do it.
There is one other thing that the briefing forgot to mention. It says that the bombs have an extensive lock time and countdown, but it does not mention that the bombs must have a lock in order to fire. They will not fire without a lock. And you'll see this is a problem later on, because the bombs will take, like I said, it takes an extensive amount of time to lock onto your target with the bombs. So that could be a problem. So, just like with the mission name, Slaying Ravana, our primary objective and our only objective for this entire mission is to destroy the Ravana. It is that big of a threat. So, let's look at our choices here. We have the Boanerdzes on by default, but we can put on the Ursa, the classic Alliance Heavy Assault Bomber, which was featured in Freespace 1, what they would call a Great War relic, and the Medusa, which is also another Great War relic, I believe. But it's more of a light bomber compared to the other two. These are the really heavy bombers. However, I don't like the Boanerdzes, as I was just saying, so I'm going to replace the entire squadron of Ursas. Okay. Now the loadout. Oh, God. More of this. No Prometheus R's. Please, no Prometheus R's. Okay, so we'll need some Hornets to take on the enemies. Okay. Well, the loadout at least I'm gonna normalize for here. So I'm gonna normalize loadouts, unable to, okay. Give me the error. Okay, I wanted that to happen. Now I'm gonna slap 2 banks of Hornets on each of my wingmen. This is so that they can fend off the enemy attackers. I'm not expecting the expecting them to do the bombing. I'm expecting myself to do the main chunk of the bombings, but if they bomb, it's useful. So I'm leaving those 5 bombs on there. I'm arming them with Hornets since we don't have harpoons. They're swarm missiles. You might have seen these before. Just as their name suggests, they fire into swarms. They don't lock on as fast as the harpoon, so that's another little gripe I have with them. They used to be, they were cool though. I used to use them all the time in the old Freespace, but whatever, it's too much. This, however, is the bomb. And as mentioned, it has an extensive lock time and countdown after firing. The harpoon had a 3-second delay between firing each bank, but the harpoon the Cyclops rather has a 20-second delay, which is a problem. Anyway, I have 555 equaling to 15. Wow, I could do basic math. I have 15 bombs here to use for destroying the Ravana. It should be enough, I think, but if not, then I might have to call in support for more. Maybe, I don't know. There's a reason why I came in with 5 banks of bombs and nothing else. You'll see why later. But for now, I'm going to cut this here, and we're going to see the mission itself in a bit. Alright. Sorry guys, I intended to cut it there when I left the video, but I found I had some extra time, so I'm including this little extra at the end. Anyway, you might be wondering why I don't like the Born Merges as much. If you compare the stats shown over here, you know, it seems like, you know, they're both the Ursa and the Born Merges have very poor maneuverability and very heavy armor. However, there's some big differences between them. Note that the Ursa has 5 gun mounts. There's 2 on the side and this weird gun that sticks out on the side for some reason. The Born Merges only has 1 gun mount. And, well, yeah, the Ursa is obviously more of a bigger target, but I actually find that the Ursa is more durable. If only slightly it's more durable, but still I find that slight more durability helps out a lot. Now, here's the other. Go over some of the other problems I have with it. Bleh. But since you only have 1 gun mount too, this means that you have less primaries to fire when you're, you know, not bombing. But here's the other issue here. Sure, it might hold more bombs. In this case, 773. That would be 17 bombs total. But here's the issue. When you rearm, each bank is filled in separately. I believe cyclones are loaded, I think, 2 at a time. So in reality, you're waiting longer to rearm if you're rearming with a Born Merges, just because you have 7 in each bank over here instead of 5 in each bank. Sure, it's just a little minor gripe, but this kind of stuff does add up later on. I think, I'm not sure, but really, you know, this bugs me right there. It feels like it moves more sluggishly than the Ursa, which is also a problem. And you know, I've attempted this mission with the Medusa, the Ursa, and the Born Merges, and honestly, I've had the best success rate with the Ursa. This mission, I think I mentioned already, is a very tricky one. You need to know what you're doing a bit because the difficulty just ramps up without really explaining too much about the bombs. And that's a little bit of a problem for a first timer. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, literally, the Born Merges feels like it moves much more slower than the Ursa, despite saying otherwise. And the loadout is a little odd. That I really don't like how it's set up. Anyway, yeah, I'm cutting this here. Sorry about adding this little annotation, but really, I just needed to get that out of my chest, just in case someone asks. See you later.